G'day punters, welcome back to the MacBet Early Move, the Queensland Racing Show where we look at the feature meeting in Brisbane on a Saturday. Bit of a special edition today. I've got John McLeod and Tommy Henjak with me. Boys, how are we?
Yeah, good. Thanks, James.
Up and about. The clouds have just cleared. The sun's finally out. It's time for betting.
Yep, I've climbed out of hibernation with this sunny weather about. Been a bit depressed the last 2 weeks, but ready to go this weekend.
Fantastic. And John?
Yeah, I've worked out I'm not a wet tracker, that's for sure. Yes, it sort of hasn't been. We've been bleeding the last couple of weeks. The thing with wet tracks and everything, and
yeah.
Usually I don't mind it because you know get in the right part of the track and everything like that, but we haven't found those type of the right horses, and we're bled. So
yeah,
hopefully we can turn things around over the weekend.
Sort of knocked off around 11 units over the last week. It's been a bit tough. We haven't really had a lot of quality racing to bet on, with the Metro meeting on Saturday getting abandoned, and then we've had the Recognition Stakes Day moved twice. So yeah, it's been a bit tough. And yeah, John, you said you typically like wet tracks because you can find the wet trackers, but is it just a matter of low quality of horses and they're just not saluting?
That's, but we got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully horses up on the, with those bad quality horses can get into the right positions, and we can, take advantage of it, but we haven't been able to do that. And the big part with the poly track is that we may have just let a few go. We tipped a fair few winners over the last meeting, everything, but we let them go just because they were very short in the morning. They got out to a decent price, but it was on the poly, and it was just there were a couple of them were first up too, so you sort of half thinking, oh, are they ready, because they're blowing so much, but they just won easy. You just got to ride the wave, mate. That's all you got to do, is just ride the wave and don't change anything. Keep the confidence going, because confidence lost, everything's lost. So you just got to keep punching.
Keep chipping away. And yeah, well, Tom, you're up at the Sunshine Coast tonight doing some yard duties for the subscribers. What's your thoughts on the poly track there? Confidence or?
Yeah, I haven't minded the poly track the last two meetings. I couldn't get up there, and I'm glad I didn't go up on, I think it was Wednesday. It looked absolutely drenched up there, but I don't mind betting on it because we are heavily focused on maps here. So you want to find the leads, you want to find those on-pace horses, and you want to find those fit horses, I guess. That's why I think some of them were blowing. But yeah, I don't mind betting there, and I don't think we'll see many meetings on there. They'll probably only schedule them when, as a last resort. So we just have to wait and see.
Okay, fantastic. And
it's a bit of a pain really with all that, James, because that track looks like it's going to be pretty good. There was a lot of scratchings. The trainers are detouring around the poly track. They're detouring around the Eagle Farm track. They're running out of tracks to go all in on. So it's I don't think there's anything wrong with that poly track from what we've seen, and hopefully the trainers will see that, and get reports back from the jockeys and say, well, this is the track we can race on, and maybe even a little bit more than what they were looking at initially with just wet tracks.
Yeah, and we might see some more depth in those fields, and maybe a bit of a better betting proposition. So that looks like 2 thumbs up from both of you boys, which is great. Let's shift our focus to this Saturday. We're racing at Doomben. There's some really quality races on there. Tom, how wet's this track, mate?
Mate, I don't know. It's going to be pretty fucking wet, I reckon. In all seriousness, though, we've got a pretty warm, sunny day here in Brisbane. Just looking out the window now, I reckon it'll probably be a heavy 8.
Okay.
Come race day, and possibly get into a soft 7. So maybe it's not as wet as everyone might kind of think, but sure. I'm thinking the A position is probably going to be in that second or third pair in running. Probably leaders will probably take the second and third pair horses to the right part of the track. That's how I'm thinking it's going to play at the moment. But I think the other interesting thing tomorrow's yard's going to be very, very important. With all the rain that's been around the last 2 weeks, Obviously, it's going to be very hard for the trainers to get the work into the horses that they need. And
Okay.
it's such a in these big fields, there's going to be some more high pressure races. Having a fit horse is going to be very advantageous.
All right, so the yard's very strong, and yeah, John, I'm looking at the Racing Queensland now, Racing Queensland website now, and it looks like it's a heavy 30. Is there any wind around to sort of dry this out a bit, help it with the sun, or is it?
There's not a lot of wind around, but this track's going to dry out. It's going to be but it's going to be a glue factory.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a different type of wet track. You're going to, as Tom said, you've got fit horses. They're going to need to be doubly fit on this track because they're going to get their feet into this bloody grass, and it's not going to come out. You know, so they're going to be dragging their feet the whole time.
Stuck in the mud.
You know, so you're going to need the right horse, the right type of horse, and the right position here tomorrow. And, you know, that's nothing unusual, but the fitness-wise is the big key here, I think.
Okay.
You're really going to need the fitness on your side. Maybe that might be a point in just going through everything that's only had 1 or 2 runs, putting a line through them and seeing what you're left. Because, you know, it'll be very interesting after this meeting to see how that works.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, add the yard to that, and whatever's looking fit, just chuck it in the numbers. Well, we'll start with the recognition stakes. That's race 7 at Doomben. That's a 1,350 metre race. Just going to take us through the market there. Should be called Tom's Mate, but it's Tambo's Mate, $4.20. The Harrovian's $4.40. Nick and Over is $5. More Than Number One, $5. Barney's Law, $9.50. Ballistic Boy, $10, and $17 and Better the Rest. That's Red Chase there at 17. Few usual suspects in this field. What are we thinking as far as on top pick?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Oh, you go. Yeah, this is
no. We're both going around in circles in this race. Look, if this was a dry track, Barney's Law, I'd be close to giving it absolute no chance. But what we've been talking about earlier is kind of on-speed horses. I know 1350 probably isn't really suited. I think he might be looking for a bit more, but the way this track's going to play, I think it's going to suit him down to the ground, and he's the rock hard fit horse in the race, and he's down on the weights there on the minimum 54. So that gives him some chance. Whether he's up to still got the class to get over some of these horses is a different kind of question. A horse like the Harrovian, I know that his first up was 60 kilos, but he's just one of those horses. He's just a winner. He just always finds a way to get the job done. The big negative for him is the gate. From gate 9, he's got horses like Nick and Over and Willow Tito. They both have some sort of speed if they jump well. And he might get back in what could be a slowly run race. Like if Tambo's Mate goes straight to the front here, up in distance, up to 1350. I know the distance is a query, but he probably can control the race with Barney's Law. And other than that, you can't see many other horses here who are coming off a long spell, contesting them for the lead and putting the speed on in the race.
Okay. And John, you've got a bit of interest here in Ballistic Boy.
Yeah, I'm giving it a chance, but you know, I'm trying to find holes in what Tom said, but I can't. He's like, I will say that Tambo's Mate, it won't win, but only because I think it'll go straight to the front, and the 1350, if any pressure is put on him at all, and I don't know where that's coming from. But if I was Barney's Law with Marshall on, he's a pusher and a shover early. You know, he's got to push and shove to get on the outside of now. I know there's a difference in Tambo's Mate can lead probably 1,000 metre races. None of these can get within 4 lengths of 1,000 metre horse. So it's a matter of when Tambo's Mate finds the lead, and then he wants to, you know, to really hold up and try to dictate so he can run the 1350. Now, if Barney's Law and Marshall's awake to that and puts a bit more pressure on him a bit earlier than what Tambo's mate really wants to, when he wants to go, well then, you know, I think they'll get down Tambo's because he'll get in that blue area and he'll be struggling. And I think Ballistic Boy will be just peeling off their back trying to come into the race with Nick and Over. And those two horses are going to be the, you know, the right type of horses. I know Nick and Over's only second up, Barney's Ballistic's first up. And I'm going against what I said before, but geez, there's a lot of these in the same boat. You know, Red Chase is first up, more than number one. You know, whether this type of track is going to suit his turn of foot, that's a real worry. You know, the Harabian's first up, Sylvia is second up, right or wrong, so it'll break, and Tumbler Ridge is second up. So, you know, I just think Ballistic Boy and Nick and Over 1350s are 50 are better horses than Tambo's mate.
Sure. And as far as early move goes, we're probably having the half unit there on Ballistic Boy, or are you sort of just going to wait and see what the track's doing?
I'm I've got a half a unit on Ballistic Boy because of the price. I think that's great odds. I'd love to know whether Nick and Over is going to go forward. You know, it'd be lovely to see him go forward a little bit out of the gates. You know, if Willow Tinto, you know, he might go forward as well. But he hasn't got the, you know, he's more of a 1,600, 2,000 metre horse really. So, or mile horse, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's a damn interesting race where I would love to be finding something fourth or fifth too wide in Ballistic Boy's position that has the fitness, because they would beat Tambo's mate. But you know, again, I'm tipping a horse that's first up on this Glue Factory.
Don't know about the Glue Factory when we're talking about the track. I don't know if we should call it the Glue Factory, but I get what you mean. I do get what you mean.
Yeah, well, the glue track, you know.
We'll have the greenwood down in force.
I'm not bagging Doomben in any way, because it's a damn good track. But it's just the way that things have happened. You know? This is what goes on when you've got drying weather after a downpour, and it's not as if there's been a lot of rain that's brushed off. It's soaked in, so this is drenched. So, you know, we get some heat into it. They're saying 31 degrees tomorrow. But then it's going to be, well, anyone that's played some sort of sport on some sort of grass, you know, field knows what it's like. You know, you run out of legs.
It's been a while. I run out of legs even when it's a firm 3, but yeah.
It brings the fast horses back to the field. It brings everyone to a level playing field. I wasn't a wet tracker in footy. I was a firm deck specialist.
So it's the grinders. It brings them right into the race.
Yeah, the big blokes like you.
Well, hopefully, little pot shot. Hopefully, we can find the grinder here in race 9. It's the Tab George Moore Stakes over 1,200 meters. Zoo Style's your favourite at $2.40. Baller is $5.50. Shooting for Gold $6. We Own a Smart One $6.50. Senior Fox 14s. Alligator Blood 16s, and about $21, and Better the rest. I might throw to John first off on this one. John, what are you thinking of this race here?
Again, you know, a lot of first up horses or second up horses in the race. You know, this race is just going to depend on whether you think Zoo Style can run it at 1,200. You know, as Tom just said, fast horses. This is not the track, and he is a fast horse, so he's going to bring him back to the field. And I'm hoping We Own a Smart One puts a bit of pressure on him and gives it to him a little bit, so that they're running pretty quickly, and then you're just sort of looking for a horse that's going to handle this type of track that's fit. You know, Shooting for Gold, he's the right type. She's the right type that just perfect position. It's going to end up whether 1,200 with this, this bluey track. That's the last little bit could be a iffy, but he's going to get the right run. And Baller, if you can trust his run last start, he's very hard to beat. He has won on this type of track, or not this, probably this heavy at the coast one day, but he didn't win by too far. And But he did get up on the inside part of the track where it was the worst, and he still was able to win. So I'm probably leaning towards Baller in this race just because I think some good speed up front, and hopefully he'll be strong at the finish. But he is Baller. We've been on him a number of times, and he's hard to catch, I can tell you.
Thoughts, Tom?
Mate, Baller is just a bomb ready to explode in this race, I reckon. I know the wet. I'm going to be checking. We're going to be plugging in the times early in the day there at Doomben to see how wet this track actually is. And if this is getting to a soft 7, then I think this is a very good bet at the current price. I won't declare it a moral, but I'd say it's a very good bet. Like John, straight after that run, first up behind Tambo's Mate, I was very skeptical on how good it went. I almost just had this thing in my mind that I had to be against this horse next start, given how good it was. Obviously, everyone saw how well it went and almost should have won. But the ratings out of that race have kind of, like Tambo's Mate went down to Sydney, did have J-Mac, but it was in the wrong part of the track there at Rose Hill, and it's run right up to that rating again in a very credible race behind, I think it was Volpine. It was still there in the market as well, which is some good guide that the bigger teams were trusting that rating from Doomben as well. And just, this isn't the Baller of old. This is Baller who's now trained by Golan. Obviously, he's been with, I think it was with Anthony Cummings early in his career, and now he was with Waller. But ever since he's gone to Golan, he resumed 1,200 metres at the Gold Coast, got the job done. It had the sectionals in its favour, but as John said, it was in the wrong part of the track. And most importantly, it was carrying a G-Boss. It was in his 2-year retirement tour around the country. And then he went to Eagle Farm. Got the job done there in pretty spectacular fashion by 3 or 4 lengths. And then he's had 160 days off, so he's had a proper spell. And I thought the trials were only fair, but he just went like an absolute rocket there first up. He had improvement. I think this race sets up perfect for him with a bit more speed on. We've seen him do it off fast tempos. We've seen him do it off a slow tempo first up. If this was a dry, if I knew it was going to be like a soft 5 or soft 6, I would be declaring him because he's just going like an absolute bomb. He had improvement in the yard. Obviously, Zoo Style is going to be very hard to beat. The market loves fast on-pace horses who run time. But I think at $2.50, going from what was a very fast track at the Sunny Coast the other day in the Swiss Ace Plate to 1,200 heavy Doomben track, I think $2. I think what price is he? It's $2.60, 70.
230, I think it was when I last looked.
240.
What's your opinion of Shooting for Gold, Tom?
Shooting for Gold, it's probably going to be my saver in the race. I think he's a bit short at the moment. I think he'll get out a little bit, but I was a bit surprised he started $5 there in the Swiss Ace Plate. I think in this race, there's a lot more things in his favour here. He's going to have a bit more speed on in comparison to Zoo Style. I think the wet track will suit him more. He had the fastest last 6 in 2 of the meeting there at the Sunny Coast, and he's always been just a little line finder, this horse. I've always had a bit of time for him, but I do think $5 is a little bit short. The horse I can't get anywhere near, I think, is We Own a Smart One. It's got to take a ratings jump here, in my opinion, and to do that, it's going to have to do it in a fast run 1,200 first up sitting outside the leader. So I'm probably going to be keen to be against it. But yeah, pretty keen on Baller.
Very keen on Baller, yeah. So just on the MacBet Platinum sheet early, we've got the half unit allocated there at about $5. But sounds like Tom's tipping Baller as a bomb ready to explode. And if we see a bit of a drying track, it could be an absolute launch job. So we'll keep an eye out for the sheets on Saturday morning, but even more importantly, the yard. Be just chucking a few grenades there, mate.
No, the dog's photobombing at the moment. Aussie.
Too good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for your time. And anyone watching, make sure you head to macbet.com.au for all the information this weekend. We'll be covering off Doomben and the Gold Coast. The website is a bit busted, so just send me a message if you're having any issues there. It is not working on Google Chrome currently, but I need to find a nerd or something to fix it because I got no clue.
And we got a bit of a live thing happening on Monday as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll be back Monday with us. We're doing a bit of a racing review of the weekend. Last week we didn't do it because it was Ipswich and it was, what did you say, John? A terrible meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll be starting that weekly recap video on Monday, and then this early move preview will just be a shorter sort of thing on a Thursday. So plenty to be excited about, guys. Good luck on Saturday. I'll actually be seeing you at the track. We might do a couple of videos from the yard as well. So cheers, guys. Go Baller.